Alright. Wall of Flesh runs away from the cornucopia. Grimmatchstick takes a spear. Albert Wesker, Nemesis, and Gore run away. Scarecrow receives a trident. Sweetheart, Duke Fishron, Margaret Baker, Space Boyfriend, Killer Moth, and John Seed run away. Humphrey repeatedly stabs Cagney Carnation to death with sighs. Count Dooku runs away. Neathog runs away. Balder shoots an arrow into Darth Maul's head. Pluto grabs a backpack, not realizing it's empty. Killer Croc and Heisenberg fight for bag. Heisenberg gives up and retreats. Goopy Legrande takes a handful of throwing knives. Mr. Negative grabs a backpack. Odin runs away, and Thor runs away. Lady Dimitrescu, Icon of Sin, and Mr. Freeze work together to get as many supplies as possible. Jango Fett runs away. Stefano runs away. Brain of Cthulhu and Beppy the Clown fight for a bag. The Brain of Cthulhu gives up and retreats. Ra's al Ghul finds a canteen full of water. Cyber Demon rips a mace out of Atlas's hands, and Conmaker grabs a shovel. Nemesis injures himself. Conmaker searches for a water source. Cyber Demon and Odin split up to search for resources. Mr. Negative travels to higher ground. Heisenberg searches for firewood. Grimmatchstick collects fruit from a tree. Gore is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Thor taints Humphrey's food, killing him. Balder and Beppy the Clown hunt for their tributes. Ra's al Ghul sees smoke rising but doesn't investigate. Neathog begs for Albert Wesker to kill her, but he refuses. Sweetheart constructs a shack. Scarecrow goes hunting. Mr. Freeze, Count Dooku, Space Boyfriend, Lady Dimitrescu, and Killer Moth hunt for other tributes. Duke Fishron throws a knife into the Icon of Sin's chest, because that would totally kill him.
Wait, who threw what?
Duke Fishron threw a knife into the Icon of Sin's chest. That would
Wow.
totally work. First of all, no opposable thumbs. Secondly, that would not do the trick.
Duke Fishron has no knives in his moveset.
Yeah.
Third of all, no.
Yeah, just no. That would not. Brain of Cthulhu sees smoke rising but doesn't investigate. Killer Croc hunts for other tributes. Stefano scares off Jango Fett. The Wall of Flesh thinks about home. Goopy Legrande goes hunting. Atlas searches for a water source. John Seed is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Pluto searches for a water source. Margaret Baker goes hunting. So far, Cagney, Carnation, Darth Maul, Humphrey, and the Icon of Sin are deceased. Goopy Legrande, Nemesis, Killer Croc, Duke Fishron, and Pluto sleep in shifts. Cyber Demon goes to sleep. Mr. Freeze tries to sing himself to sleep. Beppy the Clown stays awake all night. John Seed quietly hums. Gore unknowingly eats toxic berries. Killer Moth destroys Atlas's supplies while he's asleep. Lady Dimitrescu lets Heisenberg into her shelter. That wouldn't happen. They hate each other. Sweetheart thinks about winning. Scarecrow receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Ra's al Ghul convinces Jango Fett to snuggle with him. Aww. Neathog tends to Conmaker's wounds. Odin and Space Boyfriend run into each other and decide to truce. Count Dooku lets Albert Wesker into his shelter. Brain of Cthulhu receives an explosive. The Wall of Flesh screams for help. Grimmatchstick receives a hatchet. Balder defeats Margaret Baker but spares her life. Mr. Negative begs for Stefano to kill him. He refuses. John Seed camouflages in the bushes. Lady Dimitrescu attempts to climb a tree but falls on Grimmatchstick, killing them both. Nemesis, Count Dooku, Killer Croc, and Wall of Flesh raid Pluto's camp while he's hunting. Space Boyfriend searches for a water source. Atlas defeats Mr. Freeze but spares his life. Mr. Negative, Brain of Cthulhu, Stefano, and Conmaker hunt for other tributes. Duke Fishron goes hunting. Sweetheart and Thor hunt for other tributes. Cyber Demon defeats Balder but spares his life. Margaret Baker collects fruit from a tree. Odin receives a hatchet. Scarecrow discovers a river. Jango Fett tries to sleep through the entire day. Beppy the Clown, Killer Moth, Albert Wesker, Ra's al Ghul, and Neathog all track down and kill Goopy Legrande. They really had it out for him. Heisenberg searches for a water source. Count Dooku tries to sing himself to sleep. Heisenberg pushes the Brain of Cthulhu off a cliff during a knife fight. He can just fly, but okay. Sweetheart defeats Killer Moth but spares his life. Odin, Balder, Thor, and Pluto track down and kill the Wall of Flesh. So 3 Norse gods and a frickin' X-planet just decided to kill him. Margaret Baker and Mr. Freeze.
Took, I guess.
Yeah. That's crazy that all 3 of the God of War people work together. Ra's al Ghul attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Conmaker, Neathog, and John Seed sweep in shifts. Albert Wesker and Jango Fett huddle for warmth. What is it with Jango Fett and cuddling with everyone?
It's another Genocide Jack situation.
Yeah, pretty much. Space Boyfriend and Scarecrow sweep in shifts. Duke Fishron destroys Mr. Negative supplies while he's asleep. Nemesis, Killer Croc, Stefano, and Atlas sweep in shifts. Cyber Demon sees a fire but stays hidden. Beppy the Clown receives a hatchet. Scarecrow is pricked by thorns while picking berries. John Seed receives an explosive. Cyber Demon stalks Balder. Thor tries to spearfish with a trident. Space Boyfriend attacks Pluto, but he manages to escape. Nemesis collects fruit from a tree. Sweetheart receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Albert Wesker, Mr. Negative, Atlas, Duke Fishron, and Odin hunt for the tributes. Rachel Ghoul searches for firewood. Mr. Freeze taints Conmaker's food, killing her. Margaret Baker overhears Beppy the Clown and Neathog talking in the distance. Killer Croc hunts for other tributes. Stefano is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Jango Fett makes a swing shot. Killer Moth chases Heisenberg. Count Dooku travels to higher ground. Reign of Cthulhu, Wall of Flesh, and Conmaker have died. Count Dooku questions his sanity. Scarecrow is unable to start a fire and sweeps without warmth. Duke Fishron and Odin talk about the tribute still alive. Atlas receives medical supplies. Stefano, Neathog, Rachel Ghoul, and Beppy the Clown sweep in shifts. Mr. Negative stabs Mr. Freeze while his back is turned. Jango Fett tries to treat his infection. Sweetheart kills Killer Moth with his own weapon, a cocoon rifle. Space Boyfriend is unable to start a fire and sweeps without warmth. Thor looks at the night sky. John Seed begs for Pluto to kill him. He refuses. Heisenberg tends to his wounds. Balder looks at the night sky. Cyber Demon and Killer Croc out for warmth. Nemesis poisons Albert Wesker's drink. He drinks it and dies. Margaret Baker looks at the night sky. Heisenberg stalks Mr. Negative. Nemesis discovers a cave. Cyber Demon begs for Pluto to kill him. He refuses. Odin dies trying to escape the arena. Margaret Baker picks flowers. Sweetheart overhears Killer Croc and Neathog talking in the distance. Scarecrow, Stefano, Rachel Ghoul, and Atlas raid Thor's camp while he is hunting. John Seed is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Beppy the Clown discovers a cave. Space Boyfriend receives medical supplies. Duke Fishron receives clean water. Jango Fett overhears Balder and Count Dooku talking in the distance. Mr. Freeze, Killer Moth, Albert Wesker, and Odin have died. Rachel Ghoul questions his sanity. Thor dies of hunger. Balder receives fresh food. Damn, that sucks. Thor died of hunger while his brother was receiving fresh food.
Damn.
Rip. Clearly their mom had favorites. Sweetheart goes to sleep. Beppy the Clown receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Nemesis sets John Seed on fire with a Molotov. Count Dooku defeats Duke Fishron but spares his life. Scarecrow kills Margaret Baker as she tries to run. Stefano Valentini tries to sing himself to sleep. Cyber Demon passes out from exhaustion. Killer Croc defeats Jango Fett but spares his life. Atlas is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Mr. Negative receives an explosive. Pluto lets Neathog into his shelter. Space Boyfriend goes to sleep. Heisenberg tries to treat his infection. Balder defeats Space Boyfriend but spares his life. Count Dooku tends to Neathog's wounds. Scarecrow diverts Killer Croc's attention and runs away. Atlas overhears Rachel Ghoul talking to Mr. Negative in the distance. Cyber Demon receives clean water. Stefano goes fishing. Jango Fett tries to spearfish with a trident. Duke Fishron and Sweetheart fight Heisenberg and Pluto. Duke Fishron and Sweetheart survive. Beppy the Clown travels to higher ground. Nemesis collects fruit from a tree. Thor, John Seed, Margaret Baker, Heisenberg, and Pluto are dead. Space Boyfriend and Nemesis run into each other and decide to truce. Beppy the Clown is awoken by nightmares. Count Dooku and Balder talk about tributes to alive. Atlas screams for help. Jango Fett and Scarecrow sleep in shifts. Abe, you're here? What?
Yeah,
Discord? Okay.
I'm on my way home now.
My eyeball? What?
I found scores. I made your eyes.
Oh, you laughed at that and almost dropped a weight and died? That's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
I almost left the icon of sin.
Oh, the icon of sin, okay.
Oh, the knife one, yeah.
Yeah, he said if he didn't change his weight size, he would have dropped it and died. Because he was laughing.
No, okay, hello?
Yeah, hi.
So I laughed at the thing with the icon of sin. That would have done nothing. I started laughing.
Yeah.
Or it was that and something before it that I started laughing. Where if I had like I went 10 pounds lower than I usually would
Yeah.
because I feared that I would laugh at something stupid.
Yeah.
And I was just like crushed.
Dude, honestly, the best workout music, Hunger Games Simulator.
Yeah, and I made the path around Scourge. I made your eyeballs once, and you're like, "What did you do to my eyes?" And I sent you the image of what I did.
Oh,
And who I
okay.
replaced it with.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you didn't die. Okay. Um, Stefano's unable to start a fire and sleeps with that warmth. Sweetheart convinces Nithog to snuggle with her. Killer Croc screams for help. Mr. Negative, Rachel Ghoul, and Cyber Demon sleep in shifts. Nemesis runs away from Count Dooku. Space Boyfriend overhears Nithog and Rachel Ghoul talking in the distance. Beppy the Clown, Cyber Demon, Balder, and Scarecrow hunt together. Atlas shoots an arrow into Duke Fishron's head. Sweetheart, Killer Croc, Mr. Negative, and Stefano raid Jango Fett's camp while he is hunting. Cyber Demon climbs a tree to rest. Rachel Ghoul throws a knife into Stefano's chest. That rhymes. Balder cooks food before putting his fire out. Killer Croc, Count Dooku, and Sweetheart start fighting, but Count Dooku runs away as Killer Croc kills Sweetheart. Nemesis kills Nithog with a sickle. Jango Fett attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Mr. Negative forces Space Boyfriend to kill Scarecrow or Beppy the Clown. He refuses to kill, so Mr. Negative kills him instead. Atlas sets up camp for the night. Cornucopia is replenished with good stuff. Nemesis, Atlas, and Balder successfully ambush and kill Rachel Ghoul, Killer Croc, and Cyber Demon. Beppy the Clown, Scarecrow, Mr. Negative, and Count Dooku team up to grab food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Jango Fett accidentally steps on a landmine. Scarecrow stalks Count Dooku. Nemesis receives an explosive. Balder, Mr. Negative, and Atlas start fighting, but Mr. Negative runs away as Balder kills Atlas. Beppy the Clown picks flowers. Mr. Negative stays awake all night. Nemesis tries to treat his infection. Balder tries to treat his infection. Count Dooku looks at the nice guy. Scarecrow and Beppy the Clown huddle for warmth. Scarecrow dies of hypothermia. Balder runs away from Beppy the Clown. Count Dooku and Mr. Negative hunt for other tributes. Nemesis falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Count Dooku sets up camp for the night. Balder, Beppy the Clown, and Mr. Negative cheerfully sing songs together. Beppy the Clown questions his sanity. Count Dooku runs away from Mr. Negative. Balder unknowingly eats toxic berries. Alright, last three. Beppy the Clown from Cuphead, Count Dooku from Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, and Mr. Negative from Spider-Man. Mr. Negative, Count Dooku, and Beppy the Clown start fighting, but Count Dooku runs away as Mr. Negative kills Beppy the Clown.
Mr. Negative versus Count Dooku.
Yep. Count Dooku stabs Mr. Negative in the back with a trident. The winner is Count Dooku.
Count Dooku wins.
Yup.